My friends, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now and listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you today could put real money back in your pocket. Money that you have earned, money that you deserve, and money that far too many seniors and disabled Americans don't even know they're entitled to. We're talking about a $1,400 lump sum payment, and if you are currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI or SSI, you need to understand exactly what this is, where it comes from, who qualifies, and when you can expect to see it. Because I promise you, the government is not going to call you up and walk you through this step by step. That's why I'm here. I want you to imagine for just a moment sitting at your kitchen table, maybe with a cup of coffee in front of you, maybe with a few bills spread out that you've been staring at and wondering how you're going to manage this month. You've worked hard your entire life. You paid into this system. You followed the rules. And now, in the season of your life when you should be resting and enjoying the fruits of all that sacrifice, you feel like you're constantly just one unexpected expense away from real trouble. A car repair, a medical bill, a spike in your grocery bill. I hear you. And I want you to know that today's video is specifically for you. Now, I also want to be very honest with you from the very start, because that's what you deserve. This $1,400 lump sum is not a universal check that's automatically going to show up in every beneficiary's bank account tomorrow morning. It is real, it is legitimate, and millions of people can access it. But there are details, qualifications, and steps involved. And I am going to walk you through every single one of them in plain, simple English. No confusing government jargon, no runaround. Just the facts, laid out clearly, the way a good friend would explain it to you. So stay with me all the way through to the end, because the most important details are coming up and you don't want to miss a single word. So let's start at the very beginning. Where does this $1,400 figure come from, and why are so many people talking about it right now? The $1,400 lump sum payment that's generating so much attention right now is tied directly to the ongoing federal discussions and, in certain cases, approved legislative provisions related to stimulus relief reconciliation, benefit recalculations, and COLA retroactive adjustments that have been in motion since the latest federal budget cycles. Now, I know that sounds complicated, so let me break it down in a way that actually makes sense for your life. For many beneficiaries, and this is particularly important for those of you on SSDI and SSI, there have been significant recalculations happening behind the scenes at the Social Security Administration. When the 2023 and 2024 COLA adjustments were applied, the 8.7% increase and then the 3.2% increase, some beneficiaries did not receive the full retroactive value of those adjustments applied correctly to their individual payment histories. What that means in real terms is that there was a gap, a difference between what certain recipients should have been receiving and what they actually received. And when those gaps are corrected and paid out in a single payment, the average corrective lump sum for eligible recipients has landed right around that $1,400 range. Beyond that, there is also the matter of the Social Security Fairness Act, which was signed into law and began its implementation phase recently. This legislation eliminated two provisions, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, that had been quietly reducing benefits for nearly 3 million Americans for decades. Teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public sector retirees who were penalized under these rules are now seeing retroactive payments issued to make up for years of underpayment. For many of those individuals, the lump sum payment they are receiving lands right in that $1,400 range, with some receiving significantly more depending on their individual benefit history. So this payment is not a fantasy. It is not clickbait. It is a real phenomenon happening for real people right now. But the pathway to receiving it depends entirely on your specific situation. And that is what I want to make absolutely clear. Let's talk about who specifically can expect to see this money and under what circumstances, because this is where so many people get confused or, even worse, get taken advantage of by scammers pretending to help. If you are a Social Security retirement beneficiary who previously worked in a public sector job, a government position, a school district, a municipal department, and you were subject to either the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset, you are one of the primary groups who should be expecting a retroactive lump sum adjustment. The SSA has been processing these payments in waves, and if you haven't received yours yet, it does not mean you've been overlooked. It means your case is still in the queue. The SSA has confirmed that they are working through these cases in order, and payments are expected to continue rolling out through this year. Now, if you are on SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, the situation is a little different but equally important. If your monthly benefit was miscalculated at any point, or if you have had changes in your work credits, dependent qualifications, or auxiliary benefit eligibility that were not properly accounted for, you may be entitled to a retroactive correction. One real example of this is the auxiliary benefit. That's the additional benefit that can be paid to a spouse or dependent child of an SSDI recipient. Many families don't realize that when a primary SSDI beneficiary's payment is adjusted upward through a COLA correction or a recalculation, the auxiliary payments tied to that account may also be retroactively adjusted. When you add those corrections together, that cumulative number can reach or exceed $1,400. For those of you on SSI, Supplemental Security Income, the picture is slightly more nuanced, and I want to be transparent with you about that. SSI has strict income and resource limits, and lump sum payments are treated differently than regular monthly income when it comes to SSI eligibility. A large lump sum received in a single month could, in theory, temporarily push you over the resource limit and affect your benefit. However, the SSA has specific rules about how certain retroactive payments are treated, and in many cases, retroactive SSI payments themselves are excluded from the resource calculation for up to 9 months. So if you receive a lump sum that is itself an SSI correction, you have a window of protection. What I strongly encourage you to do is call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 or speak with a benefits counselor before spending any lump sum you receive, just to understand the implications for your ongoing eligibility. Now let's talk timing, because I know this is the question on everyone's mind. When is this money actually coming? For the Social Security Fairness Act retroactive payments, the SSA began processing payments in early 2025, and they have been issuing them in batches. The SSA confirmed that most affected beneficiaries would receive their lump sum retroactive payments by the spring of 2025, but processing times vary. If you receive your regular Social Security payment via direct deposit, your lump sum will arrive the same way, directly into your bank account. If you receive a paper check, expect it to take a bit longer. Here's a practical tip that I want every one of you to write down. Log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. If you don't have one yet, creating one is free and takes less than 10 minutes, and it is absolutely worth it. From your online account, you can see your current benefit amount, your payment history, any notices the SSA has sent you, and most importantly, whether any adjustments or retroactive payments have been applied to your account. This is the fastest and most reliable way to check your status without sitting on hold for hours. Now, your regular monthly payment dates have not changed. Social Security retirement and SSDI payments are still issued based on your birth date. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th of the month, your payment arrives on the 2nd Wednesday. If your birthday falls on the 11th through the 20th, you get paid on the 3rd Wednesday. And if your birthday falls on the 21st through the 31st, your payment comes on the 4th Wednesday of the month. SSI payments, meanwhile, continue to arrive on the 1st of each month, except when the 1st falls on a weekend or holiday, in which case you receive it on the last business day before the 1st. The lump sum retroactive payment, in most cases, arrives as a separate deposit on top of your regular monthly payment rather than being bundled into it. So don't be alarmed if you see 2 deposits or 2 checks. That is by design. My friends, I would be doing you a disservice if I only told you the good news without also being honest about the things that could reduce what you actually take home from this payment. So let's talk about a few important considerations. First, taxes. If your total annual income, including your Social Security benefits, exceeds certain thresholds, a portion of your benefits may be taxable. For individual filers, if your combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000, up to 50% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. Above $34,000, up to 85% may be taxable. For married couples filing jointly, those thresholds are $32,000 and $44,000 respectively. A large lump sum payment received in a single tax year could push you into a higher income bracket temporarily, which is why it is worth speaking with a tax professional or a free VITA tax help volunteer. Many senior centers offer this service at no cost about how best to handle it. Second, Medicare premium adjustments. If your income increases significantly, you could be subject to an IRMAE adjustment. That stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount, which means your Medicare Part B or Part D premiums could go up the following year. This doesn't happen to everyone, but it's something to be aware of, particularly if the lump sum puts you over the income threshold for your filing status. Third, and this is critical for anyone also receiving VA benefits, receiving a Social Security lump sum does not automatically affect your VA disability compensation, which is not means tested. However, if you receive VA pension benefits, which are means tested, an increase in your Social Security income could affect your VA pension eligibility. If you are a veteran receiving both VA pension and Social Security, please reach out to a veteran service organization like the DAVE, the VFW, or the American Legion before spending that lump sum so you can make sure your VA benefits remain protected. Now let's talk strategy, because getting the money is only half the battle. Knowing how to protect and grow it is where the real wisdom lives. One of the smartest things you can do with a lump sum payment is to use it to address high-interest debt first, particularly credit card balances, because the interest you're paying on those balances every month is almost certainly eating into your fixed income more than you realize. Paying off even one credit card can free up $50, $80, or even $100 a month that you can redirect into your regular budget. Another smart move, build or replenish your emergency fund. Financial advisors recommend having 3 to 6 months of essential expenses accessible in a savings account. For most seniors on fixed incomes, even having $1,000 to $1,500 set aside in a liquid, accessible account can mean the difference between handling a car repair or a medical bill without stress versus having to make impossible choices. If you haven't already, this is also a great time to request a full benefits review from the SSA. Sit down with a Social Security claims specialist in person at your local SSA office or over the phone, and ask them to review your complete earnings record and confirm that your benefit is being calculated correctly. It costs you nothing, and you'd be surprised how often errors are found that result in a corrected and higher ongoing monthly payment. And finally, my friends, if anyone calls you, texts you, or emails you claiming to be from the Social Security Administration and telling you that you need to pay a fee, verify your identity over the phone, or send money to receive your $1,400 payment, that is a scam. The SSA will never call you asking for payment or personal information. If you're ever unsure, hang up and call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213. My friends, I want you to leave today's video feeling informed, empowered, and a little less alone in navigating all of this. You worked your entire life to earn these benefits. You paid into this system through every paycheck, through every hardship, through every year you kept going even when it was hard. You deserve to receive every single dollar that is owed to you, and you deserve to understand exactly what's happening with your money. So here's what I want you to do right now. Go to ssa.gov and check your My Social Security account. If you think you may be affected by the Social Security Fairness Act changes, call the SSA and ask specifically about your WEP or GPO status. And if you are a veteran receiving both VA and Social Security benefits, reach out to a VSO for a free benefits review. If this video helped you today, please hit that like button, leave a comment below telling me what state you're in and what benefit you receive. I read every single one, and share this video with someone you love who needs to hear it, because this information belongs to all of us, and together we make sure nobody gets left behind. I'll see you in the next one, my friends. Take care of yourselves.